Good morning, guys. In previous class, we have seen the concepts like constructors, methods, and variables. So today, let's see the static methods and static variables. That also, I think we have already covered that. Yes, we used static variables as well, and we have already discussed the static methods as well. So the difference between the static methods and instance methods is the methods which are declared public and static, like it may be public or private, whatever it is. If it is having the keyword called static, then we can treat it as a static method. And if it is having the if it is not having the static keyword, then we can treat it as the instance. Okay, how to call the instance methods, we have already seen that. So if you want to call the instance method, then you should create an object for the class, and then through that object only you can call the uh, instance methods or instance variables, so you can get it access. Okay, but if you want to access the static variable or static methods, then you can directly use the class name dot variable name and class name dot method name. Okay, so that's the difference. Now let's see, today we are going to discuss about the collection variables, or let's say collection data types. So collection data types, we have set, list and map. These three are the collection data types. Then what is a collection? Now if you observe here, if you take it a data type called integer, and if you declare a, here you can store only one value, right? If I want to store 10, 20, 30, 40 values, I mean 4 or 5 values into a single variable, then this is not possible in this type of variables. To store the multi elements, or to store the So to store the multiple values in a single variable, we have data types called the collection data types, which are called as set, list and map. Okay, now let's discuss about the list. List is a class and it has all instance methods. Okay, list is a method and list is having all instance methods. If you want to know about the methods and the list, simply type list methods in Salesforce, or you can see in the developer guide. So how to create an object for the list? Okay, so if you want to create an object for a class, you should use the constructor like list L equals to new list. So this we know that, right? We know that whenever we need to create an object, then you should use class name space variable name equals to new keyword, then you need to give the class name, then brackets, right? So this is the normal way of creating the data type, I mean creating the object for the class. But here we have some specific thing for the collection data types. You need to store the multiple values into a single variable, right? For that you need to specify what type of data you are going to store into the list variable or set variable or map variable. So the syntax will be like always: list of data type, then variable name, new keyword, list of data type. Okay, this is how you can create an object for the collection called list. Okay, Now using this object you can call the instance methods. So we have already discussed the instance methods, that if you want to call an instance method then you should have the object for that specific class. If you don't have an object then you can't call the instance method. So what are the instance methods we have? So we know that list is a group of elements, right? Whenever you want to store the more values into a single variable, then we can use the collection variables called list, set or map. Then how list will store the elements into, how the list will store the number of elements into that object, right? For that we have different methods. So if you have a group, then into that group you may need to add, or you may need to remove the element, right? So if you want to add, you may have to add list of elements, means at a time you can add 4 or 5 elements into that list. Or if you want to remove, you can have remove all, right? So for that type of functionalities, adding an element, removing an element, add multiple elements, removing multiple elements from the list. So for those type of functionality you have different methods into the variables, in the list. So here we have add to store the element, add if you want to add multiple elements from another list, then you can add all. You can add the add all of set from set, clear, clone, contains all, then equals, is empty, remove, hash code, remove all, retain all, then size. Okay, let us discuss one by one. Go here. Now what I am trying to do is the list of integer, means I am going to store the integer type of values, means like integer a equals to 10. If I want to store 10, 20, 30 into the single variable, then I can go for the list. So here I am using new integer, new list of integer. Now if I want to add an element into this list, now it is empty. If I want to add an element, simply what you can do is L dot add of element. Let's say 10 I need to add. So then 10 will be added. If you want to add one more variable, 20, you can add like this. Now 2 elements are added into the single variable. If you want to add one more variable, list dot add of 100. Okay, like this you have add method. Okay, now if you see this system dot debug of L, now how many elements will be there? 3 elements will be there. See this, 10, 20 and 100, right? So we have seen add method. Let's see the add all. Okay, I have one list, I am creating another list called list of integer. L2 equals to new list of integer L2 dot add of 40. So now in L2 I will be having only one element called 40. Now if I want to add all 10, 20, 30 from the list L into the list 2, then what I can do is L2 dot add all of L, means here you are passing another list to add all the elements from L to L2 list. Okay, now if you see this system dot debug L2. Now if you observe this one, in L there will be 3 elements 10, 20, 100. In L2 there will be 4 elements like 10, 20, 100 and 40. Just execute. Ten, 20, 100, 40, 10, 20, 100. So if you observe that first 10 is added, 20 is added, 100 is added. So this is it is displaying in the same order, right? If you see that, see this 10, 20, 100. Then in the L2 you have added 40 first, then 10, 20, 100. This is maintaining the order. Whatever it is added first, it is displaying on the first, and whatever it is added last, it is displaying on the last. So list is called index based collection. Means it is displaying in the index whatever it is there. Whatever it is added in the first, it is displaying in the first place. Whatever it is added in the last, it is displaying in the last place. So list is an ordered collection. List is an ordered collection. Okay, list index starts at 0. Then list allows duplicate values. Now if you see here, 10 will be in the 0 position, 20 will be in the first position, 100 will be in the second position. Number of elements will be 3, but position will be 0, 1, 2. It's not like 1, 2, 3. It will be 0, 0, 1, 2. Okay, the index will always start from 0 and elements will be stored from the 0th position. Okay, and list will maintain the order. Whatever it is added first, it will be in the same position. Whatever it is added in the second, it will be in the second position. Now if I say that I have 10, 20, 100, then 0, 1, 2. So I think you understand the add all. I am removing this. Here if I want to add some L dot, okay, if I want to add some specific value at first position, now at first position we have 20, so then what we can do is add of 1 like 200. Okay, check this. Add. Wait. See this? At first position we have given 200. So those are adjusted 10, 200, 20, 100. Okay. Now in the same way, if you want to set a value at first position, let's say at first position, instead of 20, if you want to set a value like 200, then you can use set. What is that method? Add all, remove, retain. Series 10, 20, 100. So I think you understand the difference between the add of index and set. So if you give the set, then it will replace the value. But if you give the add index comma value, then it will add a value, and the value which was there in the same position, it will be moved to the next position. All will be adjusted like that. Okay. Don't we have set method? Set of take no. Okay. And here, let's say if you want to add, if you want to remove one value, then what you can do is you can give the remove then position. Okay. Now what will happen? 20 will be removed and 10, 100 will be there only. See this. Okay. Now here, if you want to check if if the value is there or not for the some specific element. Let's say if I want to check whether there is an element in the list or not called 100, then what I can do is contains of 100. Now what it returns? It returns true or false. If the value is there, then it returns true. If value is not there, then it returns false. Now just execute this. It returns true because 100 is there, right? But if you give some different value other than 10, 20, 100, it returns false. This is the list class. You have add of index comma element, add all clear. Then you have set okay. Now if you want to get an element from the list, let's say you don't know the value of the specific element which is stored in the list, then if you want to get one element from the list, then you can say get of 1. Now it will get the value of the element which is stored at the position 1. See this, it is returning 20. Okay. Now another method is clear. So if you use clear, right, then, and here very much important point, if the list is exceeding the size, let's say if I have given 4, 0, 1, 2, but I am giving 4, then it will throw an exception called list out of bound exception. Okay, it should be in the limit only. Now here, if I use L dot clear, then what will happen is all the elements will be removed. All the elements will be removed and it displays null. Nil. No values will be there. Okay. This is just like contains we have already seen. Get we have seen. Is empty. Now there is one more method called list dot is empty. Is empty returns true or false whenever whenever the list has no values, then it returns true. If it is having any value, then it returns false. Let's try. Say this true because we have already cleared the values. So let's use, I'm not clearing, the values will be there. Now it returns false. Okay, now here let's use what are the other elements, iterators, size. Let's see size. So the size means it give the how many number of elements we stored in that list, it gives that number. Let's call it size. See this. Okay, now we have to use the for loop or while loop or do while to store the number of elements into the list. Okay, now let's write a program called, so my intention is I need to store 1 to 100 values into the list. So let's write a program to add or to store 1 to 100 in a list. Okay, now I am using for integer I equals to 1, I less than or equals to 100. We have already seen that, just displaying, right? Now before that I should have the list, right? List of integer L equals to new list of integer. L dot add of I. Now what happens? This for loop will be executed 100 times from 1 to 100. Then first value will be added and second value will be added. Like this 100 values will be added into the list. Let's use system.debug. See this, the values are there, but it won't display multiple values, so it is just displaying like this. If you want, just add only 100 or let's say till 10. One to 100. This is how we can write a program to store the number of values at a time by using the for loop. So you guys just use the while, do while as well to store the 1 to 100 values into the list. Then list allows the duplicates. So means if I add one more time, now how many elements will be there? 20 elements will be there. See this, 1 to 10, again 1 to 10 will be there. Okay, but it will be in the order only. Okay, now let's have this thing. How can we display the values? Okay, let me give. Okay, so here I want to display the values in the list. So from one value at a time I need to print in the system. For that, so we have a method called list dot get of index to get a value, right? We have a method called get of index to get a value from the list. Now what I need to do is I need to get all the values from the list, right? For that I need to get first 0th position element, then first position element, then second position element, then third position element. Like this I need to get 19th element till 19th element, because we are adding 10 elements first and 10 elements later. Total will be 20, then position will be 20 minus 1, so 19th, because it is starting from 0th position. Now for that, so for let us print a value, I mean integer I equals to 19, I less than or equals to 0, I minus minus. So here what I am trying to do is I am just printing the numbers from 19th to, or let's say 0 greater than I less than or equals to 19. I am printing in ascending order. Here what I am trying to do, I am printing from 0 to 19th. Let's display INTGR. See here 0th to 9th, 0 position to 19th position. Now if I use L dot get of I. Now L dot get of I means first it will be 0, 0th element will be displayed, then first position element, then second position element, like this. See this. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 10, again 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, this is how you need to iterate the size, but here I have hard coded the value, right? So it should not be hard coded, means I should iterate till 19, right? Instead of that, if I use L dot size, you know that size will return how many number of elements we have. 20 elements we have. 20 elements means it will execute till 19 only, because 20 less than 20 it will be false. So 20th time or 21st time it won't be executed. Now execute. See this same output. Instead of hard coding the size or the value, you can use the L dot size to iterate the values. Okay, mostly list is we need to know that list is an ordered based collections. Order based collection, it stores the duplicate values and it is based on the index. Index starts from 0. The index last index will be number of elements minus 1. This is about the list, and we have lot of methods on that, and you guys need to go through all the methods here and you need to practice on that. Any questions on this? So store the program number 1, store the 100 strings into a list. Like string should be like name, my string 1, then my string 2 and my string 3 and so on, my string 100. You need to store 100 strings into that. So here if you observe that, here we have a program to store the integers. Now here if you use string, then here you can give like this, my string plus I. Now this will be added. Okay, if you see this, execute. This is how you need to write the program. Okay, now second program. Now remove the all even numbers, even strings from the list. Fourth one, store the removed elements into another list called RL. Okay, now fourth one, add all removed elements into the original list again, list by using add all method. Okay, now check whether all elements are added to the original list from RL or not. Use contains all. Okay, so these are the programs you need to execute. You have to write that and let me know if you have any questions on that and if you have any doubts on that. Okay, now let's see the set. So set is also an a set is also a collection variable. Set also stores the multiple elements into that, but the difference is it doesn't maintain any order. It doesn't maintain any order. Means in the list if you add an element, it will be in the same position. If it is added first, it will be in the 0th position. If it is added in the last, and whatever the last position is there, and in that position it will be there. Set doesn't allow the duplicates. So means in the list if you add 10, 20 times, let's say if you are adding a value 10 for 2 times or 3 times or 4 times, it takes that and the values will be there. 10 value will be there 2 or 3, 4 times when how many times you have added, those many times the value will be there in the list. But in the set, if you add duplicate value, then it will be overridden and duplicate values are not allowed. Okay, and one more thing, set doesn't follow any order. This is very much important. And let's say list methods, sorry, set methods. Now here, if you see that, set is also same like that. If you want to add an element, you can add like this. Add all is there. Clear is there. Clone is there. Contains is also there. So you can use all the things. Contains all. But in list you don't have the contains all. But sorry, not contains all. Yeah. So in list you have contains all and other methods as well. So you guys just go through this. Sorry. All the elements. Okay. then all other methods are same as it is. We don't have any other difference. What other methods we have as called event? So the difference is, in list you have remove method. In the remove you need to pass the index, but in the set you need to pass the element to be removed. Remove is also like this. Then size is also like this. Okay, let's see how to add multiple elements. Now instead of list, I am declaring it as a set. All methods are same. Okay, but there is no get method in the set. If you observe that, let's see this. There is no method called get. Then how to iterate the values from the set? For that, you have an enhanced for loop. Okay, enhanced for loop means the syntax of the enhanced for loop is for data type variable name dot set variable. It's a collection. Then logic, you can use this. So here also like this. Here data type. What type of data we stored? Strings only, right? String variable like for string yes, then collection variable. What is the collection variable? L, because L is having all of the values into that. Now you can use system dot debug of yes. So like this you need to write the for loop for displaying the values from the set. Here we are having the two for loops. One for loop is adding the values from 1 to 10. Another for loop is also adding 1 to 10. So 20 values should be there, but set doesn't allow the duplicate. So only 1 to 10 means 10 values will be there only. It won't be having 20 values. Okay. Now here what I need to do is I need to remove some values. Let's say if I want to check whether my string 10 is there in the list or not, I mean set or not, then what I can do is system dot debug of L dot contains of my string 10. See this, it is true, means it is there. That's why it is returning true. Okay, same as it is as the list. Okay, the difference is only there will be no index and it doesn't allow the duplicates. Because of the index, it doesn't have index, so that you can't iterate the string values using the normal for loop. You can use the enhanced for loop only, and this enhanced for loop can be used for list as well. If you want to execute the, if you want to iterate the values using the list, then that also can be used here. So why we are using all the methods like add or remove everything by using the object name? Because all are instance methods only. Okay, now write a program for this. Set programs. A program to store countries. Okay, means you can add any number of countries, 10, 20, 30 or whatever it is. How many countries you need, you can add it. Okay, to store 100 countries. You can give country 1, country 2, country 3, whatever it is. Okay, now check if country 10 is there or not in the set. In the set or not. Then remove country 100 from the set. Okay. Again 4. Add country 200 to the set. And fifth one, add the current set into the list. Into the list twice. Means you can use list.addAll of set twice. So you can have 100 plus 100, 200 countries in the list. It's not in the set. It should be in the list. Any questions on this?